recording.
Wait, how are we gonna do this?
Oh gosh.
Alright, I think that
Figures
works.
it out.
Yeah, I have used a camera before.
Alright, everybody, well, it is me, Brienne, and Jonathan here. I'm David, by the way. We are here. We are about to watch the Snyder Cut, and so we're basically just going to do a reaction video. And I think after this, me and my friend Sean are going to be giving y'all a review of the movie. And that being said, how are y'all excited?
Yeah.
Yeah?
All right, cool. Well, we're not going to waste your time, so we're just going to get started. Yeah. Oh, let's turn the volume
So
up.
you said Martian Manhunter is supposed to be in it?
I think so, yeah.
That's pretty sweet, because I was thinking about I knew about the cartoon Justice League, and
Yeah.
I had always seen him, so
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
Get excited. Jonathan, get off your phone.
I'm sorry,
Get off your phone.
It's important.
The Snyder Cut starting. No phone for 4 hours.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can live. I'm just kidding.
Oh, this is Superman's death, I can already tell you. Oh, yeah, there it is. Ooh. Oh no, I've been impaled.
Oh, look at that. I've been impaled.
People are gonna get so mad at us for talking this much in a movie, but I don't care. I'm gonna watch it multiple times, so if you're planning on getting on to me, don't worry.
What was the scene with the cubes?
The cube?
Is that from, did that happen in the last movie?
No.
So there's no context for that?
No, well, yeah, that's the thing. In the last movie, Steppenwolf just shows up and he knows where all the cubes are at and stuff. So this is actually giving you some context here. That's cool. Don't touch it.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Nope, 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 nope.
This isn't the original, right?
I think this shot is in the original, but it's like a little bit later on in the movie.
Okay.
Like there's no build up. He just is like randomly standing on top of a cliff. Yeah, we'll show you the original one at some other time so you can compare it.
Caldrogo?
He said, get out.
I saw that coming. I was like, he probably knows the language. Yeah.
Fight comes, we'll need you. Don't count on that, man.
I didn't hear that word.
Hey, he just said the name of the thing. I wonder what they're singing. Like, if you translated it. It's like they treat him like a god, I guess. That's kind of cool. He's like the one who brings them hope. It's also creepy. Aww. She visited her boy's grave.
Martha.
Martha! Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name?
Ooh, that looks so good.
That's what sticks out to you. Oh, I actually saw a snapshot of this. Look, the director's in the background. Zack Snyder? That's him right there through the window. Boom. In case y'all are wondering. It's my boy.
You don't miss a day, do you?
I think that's the guy who played Jimmy Olsen in the original Superman movies. The guy with Christopher Reeve.
How you doing? Jimmy Olsen, photographer.
Oh, hi. Clark Kent. Nice to meet you.
It's okay, they're just sleeping.
Just sleeping.
He's asleep.
No, wait, what?
Oh, I see what's happening. You guys don't know this. But when criminals fight me, it's exhausting, because I'm good.
That's a really pretty shot, but I still don't understand why she's just standing up there. Oh, wow. I assumed this was like a Joss Whedon shot because it kind of like goes up her skirt. It's kind of weird. This seems like a weird angle to me.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. No Man's Land, yeah. Oh man, she's brutal.
She just murdered that guy.
Yeah.
You know, if her momentum was in one direction, he could have just gone back the other way.
Huh. That scene was a lot more impressive. And the other one was just like really random. That one actually makes you kind of terrified of Wonder Woman. You're like, oh gosh. This woman's powerful.
It's over now. You okay? You okay?
It's like, no, you just murdered that man.
I'll be like you someday.
She really wants to murder people too. I want to throw bad men against walls and have their heads bust open.
When you grow up, you can be anyone you want to be.
Can I be like you one day? Well, I'm half God, so probably not, but... Oh. Oh no, blue sky beam of death! Steppenwolf. He looks legit. There's so much going on. It's really cool looking, but...
There's so much going on, and it's in slow motion.
Yeah. It wouldn't be Zack Snyder if it wasn't slow motion.
That's right.
Girl, you don't have time to be chilling right now. You need to run with that thing. Dang, they're muscular. Jeez Louise.
You know, she got ripped for that shot.
Yeah. And it didn't even make it into the original movie.
I know, right?
Right? Run! Girl, I know that you're... Come on. You gotta get moving. You can't just chill there and look. But why did the whole ground just fall?
Because, David, that's just how it happens.
But like... but why?
Don't question the process.
Okay.
Feels like Steppenwolf might be dead.
That's it. Like, end of the movie. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Just threw a orc with a rider in the air.
That's ferocious.
Oh, his armor like reacts to the
That's
shots.
cool.
Nice.
Oh, that was neat. Yeah. That's cool. Zack Snyder knows how to film action scenes. Because, like, you actually feel... Like, it's kind of like in the Spider-Man movies. Like, you actually feel weight to it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't just feel like... Oh. This is going to be the end of part 1? I bet it's going to be the end of part 1.
Then what? Shiva.
Zack Snyder's Justice League, Part 1, Don't Count on It, Batman. Sean, what'd you think about this part?
I really liked it. Are we talking about comparing it to the other one, or just like as its own thing?
Both, you know? I mean,
Okay.
this is your first time seeing it, so just so you know, like, if you're watching this video, you probably just watched our reactions to the movie, where it was me, Brienne, and Jonathan reacting to it. So this is actually my second time watching through. This is Sean's first time, and so this is his first time seeing it at all. So you don't even know what's to come yet in the rest of the movie. So really, we're just whatever you want to talk about. If you just want to talk about it as a whole or comparing it to the other one, we're gonna probably do all that stuff. So what'd you think?
I mean, even as its own, it did a really good job of like, I noticed in comparison to the original one, like they added a lot more context and they lingered on things more.
Yeah.
And so it made things seem both more epic and also like there was more stakes, and then also explained more things like Superman's scream that, like, I don't know if that caused something with the boxes.
Yeah, it like activated the mother boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like it like literally directly led into the first scene at the temple. Not first scene, but that scene at the temple.
Yeah.
When like the box like opens up or whatever.
Yes.
And then that scene didn't even exist.
Yeah.
In the other one.
Yeah, it's crazy what doubling the runtime of the movie can do, huh?
Right?
Yeah, so the Justice League one, it was only 2 hours long. This one's 4 hours.
Yeah.
And that's a long movie, but given all that they were making Zack Snyder do in this movie, it needed to be this long, right? Because you're even talking about how you could feel like, wow, this is covering a whole lot more stuff, and we're getting a lot more context. Because in the original one, they didn't really... I keep saying the original one. I guess technically this is the original one. But I'm just going to keep calling it original because it came out earlier for us, right? It is our original version. It's my truth. But in the original one, we you don't really know, I don't think they fully explain why the mother box is activated. I think they try to explain something about it being as a result of Superman's death, but they do a very sloppy job of doing it. Whereas this one literally spends like, honestly, probably the first 2 or 3 minutes, or maybe even 5 minutes, I don't even know, just like literally taking you across the world to see it. So literally this scene opens up exactly where Batman versus Superman left off, where literally Superman is impaled, he's screaming, and you literally get to see the, what would you call it, like reverberations of it, like just like boom, boom, and you follow it, and you get to see it goes through Metropolis until it gets to Gotham, and then in this young man's closet, you see a mother box activate, like right when it gets there, and then you go under the sea and you see an Atlantis, one activates, and then you go to that temple, and like you're like, okay, so something about Superman dying activated these things. So within 5 minutes in, you're like, okay, I already understand more of the plot than I did in the original one.
Yeah.
And then one thing I did want to point out, because you haven't seen Man of Steel or Batman vs. Superman, right? You haven't seen those. One cool thing that I like about this one, really I like everything about this new one, Zack Snyder's Justice League compared to the other one. But one thing that I think is really cool is that it starts with Batman vs. Superman stuff. Because if you watch Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman picks up about 5 minutes before Man of Steel left off. And then this movie picks up about 5 minutes before Batman vs. Superman left off. So really, if you were to watch all three of these movies back to back, it's almost like one continuous story.
Yeah.
Right? So literally it's like, okay, boom, boom. But like it's really cool. It's almost like when you're in the Bible, you're reading like Luke and Acts.
Yeah.
Like Luke, it tells the story of Jesus, and then it ends with the Ascension. And then you go to the book of Acts, well, it picks up with the Ascension and tells the history of the church. That's kind of how it feels with this, right? You go, okay, you got Man of Steel, and then Batman vs. Superman. It's cool because you actually get to see the events that end Man of Steel from Batman's perspective.
Mm.
Yeah, and so now you get to see how Batman versus, like, Superman's death from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah.
And you get to see what's happening, and you see that basically everything that happened in Batman vs. Superman jump starts this. And so you get that connection. Whereas the other one, I'm pretty sure it just started with an opening montage, just showing... Oh, well, no, oh my gosh. I just realized what it actually started with. It started with that video, do you remember, of the kids being like, Superman! Yeah, like, you ever fought a hippo and stuff? And you're like, oh my gosh, and it's got like the terrible upper lip.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to a montage. But yeah, so they'd start vastly differently. And then, so Superman's death, Batman vs. Superman, the mother boxes, we addressed all that. There are 4 main things that we get to see in this opening sequence, right? Because I just figured we'll just attack them one at a time. The first thing that we get to see is that we get to see Batman meeting Aquaman for the first time, which I believe in the Justice League version took place a little bit later on in the movie, because I think they spent more time doing the opening montage and stuff. But what do you think about Batman meeting Aquaman?
It was definitely an interesting encounter. I guess I didn't realize they didn't know each other.
Okay.
So
probably should have showed you Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. That would have probably helped. Oh, well.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
But I forget what else was different. I guess for one thing, I liked that they showed him like traveling through the mountains.
Yeah.
To get there.
It lingers there a lot.
Because it also makes you understand that like he obviously is like, this is an urgent matter. He's literally traveling through like terrible mountains.
Yeah, and you immediately pick up on the fact, I don't know if you noticed this, but you immediately pick up on the fact that time has passed. Because the last scene was Superman getting impaled and Batman didn't have a beard, but then now he's traveling through the mountains and he gets to this place. He's got this like thick beard. You're like, okay, so he spent some time looking for this guy. You know,
okay,
so
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, like that was just something, just watching it this time, I was like, okay, yeah. So you get to see this time just because he's got a beard. You can tell he's been spending a lot of time trying to track these people down. He gets to this place, and the scene itself is already, to me, a lot better. Because they cut out a lot of the jokes. Like, in the original, in the Justice League one, he says, "You're the Aquaman. I hear you can talk to fish." They don't have that joke in this one. Because,
they don't.
Yeah,
it was a much more serious scene.
Yes, it was a lot more intense. And I think they even did something different with Jason Momoa's eyes, to where he feels a lot, like, creepier, honestly.
Yeah.
It could also just be the color grading. I don't really know. I couldn't put my finger on it. I had to compare the scenes side by side, which I'm sure people have already done on YouTube, so go look that up. But, yeah, the scene, it doesn't have a lot of... It's missing a lot of the jokes and stuff, which I'm totally fine with. I'm fine with it being more serious. Also, this scene in the Justice League one is where they tried to lazily explain the mother boxes. Because, like, they looked to the wall, and there was, like, a sketch of, like, these boxes, and they're just, like, on some random wall in this, like, I guess it's a pub or something? I don't even know where they're at, like a town hall.
Oh, yeah.
And there was, like, this sketch, and it's like, oh... There's 3 boxes. And I was like, really? That just happened to be there? That's convenient. That's not in this one, because later on they're actually going to explain it a lot more in detail. Because 4-hour runtime, right? You got time to do that, so it's not lazy writing. The one thing that I did think was cool, and I'll get your opinion on it too, is the women singing at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say the women.
What'd you think about that?
I don't know. Like, I guess that has to do with like their view of Aquaman. Like, I guess they view him as like a literal god or something.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. And there's been mixed opinions on it because people say it like feels out of place and everything. You know, I read people's reviews and I read people's reflections and stuff on it. But I don't know. I realized, is this not changing colors? Oh, they are changing colors. There's that. Wow, they go at different cycles, I guess. That's weird. They were synced up at the beginning. Huh, interesting. Okay, sorry, that's random. It seems like they actually view him as a god. So it's interesting how the first character they're introducing here, Zack Snyder's establishing this precedent. People view these people as larger than life. Because you don't have that scene in the original one, right? You know, there's just this dude who's like, oh yeah, don't count on it, Batman. Like, he makes all these jokes and stuff, and then he just like dives into the water and leaves. He just seems kind of like a lazy bum. Whereas in this one, he seems snarky. He doesn't seem lazy at all. He just seems like, he's like, yeah, like I got other things to worry about. But these people, they revere him. And it's really creepy, honestly. It's kind of scary because like the woman, she has like, the way they did her makeup and stuff, she's got like, her eyes are really deep set and stuff to where like, she's got like really dark shadows on her eyes.
Yeah.
And she's singing and then she like picks up the sweater that he threw off and she like smells it. And I tried to figure out what they were singing. And I found a thing on like Reddit or something where somebody was like, loosely translated, it's like, thank you for the fish, see you next time. I feel like there had to be more to it than just that, because that was a very intense song to just be saying that. But so I don't know. I don't speak whatever language they were speaking, but I don't know. I thought I actually really appreciated that scene because you're like, oh wow. This guy's kind of a jerk, but they view him as a god.
Yeah.
And so it's just establishing, like, these are the caliber of heroes we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Whatever, like, you don't even have to see what all he's been doing to help them out. You just see how they respect him and revere him, and you're like, okay, this guy's important. You're like, okay. So I just think that's cool because I addressed this in the videos that we did before. Zack Snyder's trying to create, like, a mythology here, which to me is cool. It's elevating the characters, whereas Joss Whedon seemed to just, like, throwing the characters under the bus and making fun of them. But then another thing we get, just briefly, we get updates on Martha and Lois.
Yeah.
Right, and we're just saying that Martha Kent, you know, she's selling the Kent farm and she's driving away and stuff. And then Lois, she is visiting the Superman Memorial every single day. And we know that because, you know, she's walking. We get that brief cameo from Zack Snyder when she's walking out of the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And she brings a coffee to one of the, like, cops who are there.
Yeah.
And fun fact, I don't think you've seen this movie, but the cop in that scene is played by the guy who played Jimmy Olsen in the original Superman movies, like with Christopher Reeve.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Jimmy Olsen's like Superman's best friend and stuff, you know. So it's kind of cool. Like that's the same guy.
That's cool.
And he says, "Oh, you're here again," and she's like, "Yeah, I never miss a day," you know. So kind of sad, you know. It's raining. She's going and she's looking at this monument, which is for her like dead boyfriend, but nobody knows it's her dead boyfriend, right? So
yeah,
it's kind of sad. Do you have anything you want to say about that stuff?
Just the fact that noticed they didn't have that in the other one, and I thought that was also important to have in there. Again, it kind of like shows you the stakes and emotion and everything. Yeah,
I think there was one shot of this in the other one, but it didn't show Martha or Lois. I think it was like the overhead shot of like an umbrella looking at the monument, but I think it was part of the opening montage.
Okay.
I believe. I don't know. It's kind of I don't remember, but yeah, it's missing, right? This is context that's important. You did see that Martha moved out of the Kent farm and stuff, but that was also just in brief passing and stuff. So I like that this movie has a lot more time to breathe. It's nice, you know? You're like, I think there's sometimes where Zack Snyder goes a little too far with the slow-mo, where I'm like, okay, this was unneeded. But I don't mind it because it's that Zack Snyder feel, right? I was comparing it a lot to 300, especially to the scene we're going to be talking about in a second. But before we get to the last scene of this, we have the Wonder Woman scene. Right, where she shows up at the, I don't know if it's a museum or bank or, I don't exactly know what building this was.
For some reason I thought bank for a while, but it wouldn't really explain to kids.
Yeah, field trip to the bank, everybody, woo! Yeah, I don't fully know what place this was, but the kids are taking a field trip there, and this scene was in the original Justice League, but it's different in this one. What'd you think about it?
It was definitely a lot better done. I guess some of the shots I didn't expect to be in this one, like the low shot, but they did a better like organization of the scenes. Like they even had like the police outside.
Yeah.
Like the bomb wasn't a grenade.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more build up to where you kind of understand better what this guy's going for. Because in the original one, the guy just shows up. He's like, oh, yeah, we're going to send the world back to the Stone Ages. You're like, with what? A bomb? That's all you're going to do? But no, like, he calls them. He says, hey, we're going to release a message soon. And so, like, the idea is that he's trying to send a message, and the bomb, like, so he's like a terrorist who's sending a message with it. You're like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. The other one, the line seems out of place, sending back to the Stone Ages, and then the bomb goes off, and it's like a kind of tiny bomb. You're like, that wouldn't have done anything. But this bomb's pretty significant. It's like, it's a pretty big old bomb. Whenever she finally throws it up, you're like, oh, that's... I mean, it wouldn't have done too much damage, but accompany that with the message that they were sending, okay, it would send a message for sure. And so, I do like the introduction there. You did mention that there's some shots in here that were kind of weird. I mentioned this in our spoiler discussion that I did with Brienne and Jonathan after we watched the movie the first time. And, yeah, there were some shots that I originally attributed to Joss Whedon. So there's the one where Wonder Woman's holding the guy by the lasso, and it kind of goes up her skirt a little bit. And the reason I thought that was Joss Whedon's shot is just because he's notorious for doing stuff like that. Like, there are some, he's the one who, he wanted the Flash to fall into Wonder Woman's chest. And then there's other scenes where it's just, like, zoomed in on Wonder Woman's butt and stuff. And the other one, you're like, this is weird. But this scene wasn't Zack Snyder's here. But rewatching it, like, I think it works a lot better. First off, because the color's corrected, so there's deeper shadows and stuff. So it's not as, like, bright and focused on, like, strange stuff. Like, yeah. Like, it's like there's more shadows. And it seems like, once again, it's elevating the character, right? She's higher above the camera angles. It's serving the purpose of highlighting how, like, she's one of the, like, a Greek god, Whereas in the other one, it's just a random shot. Because you don't get that image of Wonder Woman. She's a person who you can laugh at because the Flash fell on her chest. So you don't get that image like, oh, she's a power, like, Whereas this one, okay, I see where he's going with here. And the same thing even with the her standing up on that statue. Yeah. That seemed really out of place to me in the original one. Whereas in this one, it once again, it works better because I see what he's trying to convey by these characters, right? Because I don't know what the statue is of, but I'm pretty sure it's a statue of a Greek god. And she's standing on top of the statue. You're like, oh, okay, cool. But then, so I think that scene works a lot better. The one thing that I do think is kind of funny, I think I addressed this in the spoiler review too, is at the very end of this, first off, Wonder Woman kills a bunch of people. Like, Wonder Woman is not afraid to kill. I don't think any of the characters, like, outright just kill people in the original one. All these heroes kill in this movie. Like, they're not afraid of it. Zack Snyder doesn't care. There's one point where Wonder Woman throws a guy against a wall and his head just, like, splats. Like, you just see, like, he falls down and there's just, like, blood all over the wall. You're like, oh my gosh, this woman's intense. But after the whole fight, she walks up to this girl. And the girl's, like, kind of traumatized a little bit. But then she, like, smiles. She's like, can I be like you? And Wonder Woman's like, yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, not really. I mean, Wonder Woman's, like, what, a demigod raised by Amazonian warriors? I mean, I guess it's a very optimistic approach to things, so I guess potentially, in some way, yeah, you could, but I don't know. It's a nice thing to say, though, right? It's a nice, heartwarming thing to say. You can't just, like, look at the girl and be like, nope! But I just thought it was funny, because the moment the girl asked that, I was like, well, that's an awkward question to ask, because no, you can't be like her. But then we get to the final scene, right? The final scene of this part is the Themyscira battle. Right? What do you think about that?
A lot better.
Yeah? What was it that made it better to you? If you had to explain it.
I had to explain it. Well, multiple things. I mean, a big thing was that they did a better job with Steppenwolf. Because he actually felt like a villain and not just like a henchman that was like in the wrong place.
Yeah.
They also showed a little more going on. Like, they had the temple like collapse. Mm-hmm. And like, it seemed like they even thought they, like, won the battle for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it showed that, like, no. They didn't.
That's always, like, the worst feeling, too, right? Like, in a movie or something, whenever they think they won, and then just, like their hopes come crumbling down, you're like, oh, dang.
Yeah, and then they showed, like, some of the people, like, I think there was, like, 2 or 3 times whenever she, talked to someone face-to-face who was dying. Mm-hmm. And, like, that also kind of made it more real.
Yeah.
And like I said, they did a better job with Steppenwolf, like his armor and like the armor that like caught the arrows, and he just
legit.
Like that's pretty legit, yeah.
Yeah, the design's cool. Like, it's just, I don't know, the previous Steppenwolf, I kept comparing him to an action figure because he seemed like one. He was just wearing like normal armor. He was just a regular dude, and I liked how you put it. I think you even just said it just now, but he felt like he could actually be the main villain of the movie. Which he is. He is technically the main villain of the movie, but throughout the movie, he makes it clear he's the henchman paving the way for a greater villain.
Yeah.
Whereas in the other one, he seemed like a henchman, but unfortunately, he was the main villain. Whereas in this one, Steppenwolf by himself is a worthy main villain, but he's saying, oh, like whenever you see how he interacts with Darkseid, it makes you fear Darkseid because you're like, oh my gosh, Steppenwolf's already so powerful. Like, this dude chucks a horse with his hand. Like, he's just like, boom, he just chucks the horse. You're like, this dude's powerful. He catches arrows. He's like all this stuff's going on. They do a really way better job with Steppenwolf. Zack Snyder also, he just knows how to do an action scene. He's very good at that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the scene I was comparing a lot to 300 because he also directed 300. And it feels very similar. You know, it's Greek warriors fighting against godlike creatures because, you know, it's the Spartans going against the Persians in that one. But he kind of adds a mythology to that as well in the 300 movie. But yeah, so really cool scene. There's a lot of slow-mo. This was some of the places where I thought the slow-mo was going a little too far. Because, like, whenever she's leaving the temple... I don't know. Is it a temple? I don't know what to call it. But I'm just going to call it the temple. Where the mother box was located, right? Whenever she's leaving there, she's like running away, and that shot was like odd to me because like it was in slow mo, and I was just like that probably didn't need to be. But now I'm just nitpicking. But yeah, overall I thought it was a really good scene. There's a lot more stakes and stuff, and yeah. So I think that's about it. That's it for part 1, I believe. But overall, do you like this one better than the original one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, unless you have anything else to say, then we will be back for part 2 soon.
Yep.